here with Josef Newgarden, fresh again. You're like the third person I think we've spoken to that's fresh from New York. What were you doing? Yeah. Well, the Meyer Shank guys went to SiriusXM's headquarters.
Oh.
So they did a little New York thing.
That makes sense.
What were you there doing? Just getting some nice dinner and
a little R&R. Yeah. There's nowhere better than New York City for some rest and relaxation.
I couldn't agree more.
I went and did a little Fox circuit, which was
cool.
Which was good. We did some morning shows. As you would guess, in the morning.
Yes.
And then we did an activation with Macy's, which was pretty cool. We did this with Fox. We did this, ridiculous, silly
the ethanol
commercial, and then we did an activation at Macy's with it, which was fake, but it was very cool. And then I got to throw out the first pitch at the Yankees Stadium.
Oh, nice.
Pretty fun for me. I'm a big Yankees fan. Honestly, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. Most people from Nashville, Tennessee are Braves fans. From Atlanta.
Really?
Yes, because we're very close to Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Closest MLB team, but I was always a Yankees guy. So, it was a pretty cool time in New York.
Did you see George? Because
I didn't know.
He was here, I think, right?
I didn't even text him. I was going to text him, and then I didn't.
There you go.
But I have his number now.
That's cool. So, I mean, you've thrown out many first pitches, I feel like, over the years.
Yeah, a few.
But Yankees is that number one? Is that?
Oh, that's at the top by far. It's just like
first time you've done the Yankees, or you've done the Yankees?
First time I've done the Yankees. Okay. But it's the Yankees.
No, I'm with you.
Like so cool.
I'm from a town that has a baseball team.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Right. So
that's the point.
Blue Jays is Blue Jays, but I had more Yankees hats growing up than Blue Jays hats.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, it's the pinstripes, it's the history. It's just there's just something about it that's so iconic.
Yeah. I love it. I do want to hear more about this activation at Macy's, though.
Yeah.
So, for those that haven't seen it, we had those commercials that Fox did, the montage of, Joseph and who he is. Part of it was this, mock cologne commercial, right, called Ethanol.
Yeah.
And so did you guys actually make a fragrance? What was the pop-up?
I would like to say we did. We did not. Okay. It would be very strong. The fragrance. I was joking.
Potent.
I was joking around with it. I was like, you spray it and it just evaporates immediately. It's just the essence of ethanol.
There's no actual smell.
Yeah, it's an essence of it, right? But it was really funny to make this piece. This is what it was born out of. It came out of the commercial organically. I told you about this. We were shooting this commercial. We shot it very quick. It was 8 hours, 6 sets, just cranking through it. And this director that they had on producing is a young guy, really fun, really we got along very well. And we got on this set, and it's an absurd set to film this little piece for, right? For this 40-second commercial. This is going to be 4 seconds of it, and it's going to be ridiculous looking. And I was laughing the whole time we were making it, and we just ended up ad-libbing an hour and a half worth of stuff. And I was like, we have to make a solo commercial just for this.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff he didn't put in there that I would have liked to have seen. I just thought
a blooper reel of it.
Yeah, they need to. I was just thinking ethanol. I was saying, it means it's French and all these sort of things that are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
We do need the blooper reel. Where is it, Fox? Put it out.
I'll make some calls. We'll find it.
Yeah, you can get it.
Yeah, we'll find it. You've done a bunch of actually, we talked about this, but when those commercials came out, they were in Super Bowl. They were everywhere before St. Pete. And I think you were saying walking around Nashville, you were getting people being like, "Oh, that's the dude from the Super Bowl commercial." How cool is it to kind of see the profile bump just from that that commercial? I guess.
It was noticeable. I mean, my goodness, I don't know how you could get something more impactful than the Super Bowl. But Fox really leveraged every bit of their platform, which was incredible. I got out of a speeding ticket because of it.
What?
Real story.
All right, yeah, let's hear this.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of the order of this. So I had to. What was I doing? I was testing somewhere. This was after. Do you remember we did a call down in when I was in Florida? I was doing a straight line test somewhere, and then I did a call with you guys on Ask Off Track.
Yes.
It was the first one.
Yes.
And we've been trying to do it forever. It was right after that, and then I had to go somewhere. I had to drive up north. I think I was driving to Sebring afterwards.
Okay.
And so I was on my way to Sebring to do the IndyCar preseason test, and I got pulled over doing an illegal U-turn. And
it wasn't even speeding.
It wasn't even speeding.
U-turn.
It was an illegal U-turn in an intersection, and I was like, this guy was just sniping people.
Yeah,
he knew what he was looking for.
Yeah.
And he was way up the road from the intersection, so it was very clever of him. And he pulls me over, he starts talking to me, and right away I get the vibe. I'm like, I'm 100% getting a ticket.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's just trapped me.
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah, I was like, he doesn't care how I sound or how polite. Like, I'm getting a ticket. And then he comes back. It took him a while. I'm like, I'm definitely getting a ticket. Like, he's like, he's got to fill it out. And,
and he's just Googling the commercial on his phone.
He comes back and he's like, it took me a minute to figure out who you were. He's like, you're IndyCar driver Josef Newgarden, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. He came back serious too, so I was like ready to get the ticket. I was going to be a smart ass back. I was going to be like, how many people, like I knew I was going to get a ticket, so I was going to almost get in trouble with a cop to be like, how many people are you getting at this intersection?
Right.
And then like he blindsides me with this and he just said, hey, be safe. Have a great day. And I was like, cool. All right. I guess this worked. Like the only way I think he knew me was because of the commercial.
You don't know that. I mean,
maybe
Florida,
not.
There's
Maybe
a lot
not.
of racing in Florida.
It just seemed like coincidental. Like there was a lot of weird things happening as soon as that commercial came out.
Yeah. Well, you say it's a big platform. It's a big audience that you reach on that. One of the other cool things that you did is I saw you went to the Fox Upfronts.
Yeah.
Which was kind of neat. There with the Borg, hanging out with Michael Strahan. What was that all about?
Yeah, it was really cool. I'd actually never been to one of these. So, the upfronts are essentially where they're pitching, all the material that's going to be coming out on the Fox platforms, both from the entertainment and sports side. They had all their hitters there, from the entertainment side, but then also the sports side. And I was hanging out with, legitimately, I'm not saying this.
I was going to ask, so you can just say
I was sitting in a room with Tom Brady and Derek Jeter and Alexander Rodriguez and Michael Strahan. Poppy was there. Ortiz was there. Like, I'd never met him. So if you're a big baseball fan, these guys were legends. And so just to even go there and to give our little pitch, our pitch took 4 minutes. Letterman was a part of it. We're just talking about the Indianapolis 500, how it's going to be on this platform, and you're basically selling the advertisers. And but just to be there and to be like, we're part of the mix with you guys. It was really cool.
You're in the same room.
It was really cool.
You are legitimately in the same room with those guys.
And these guys were interested.
Yeah.
Like super interested. We got to talk, they're talking about their sport. They're asking about IndyCar. They're all coming here for the Indianapolis 500. They were very intrigued about the race. So it was great. It was just very legitimizing.
Because you're like buddies with Brady at this point. You guys have been to a couple events together. You're in the commercial together. He's going to be here on race weekend.
I don't know about that. He would probably still be like, who is that guy? But
I don't think. No, he knows
Very
exactly
nice,
who you are because that commercial was his jawline, not quite the same.
Ingrained in his brain.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
knows.
Yeah. You live rent free.
He knows.
How does that feel? All right. Let's switch to the race. All through practice, all through every race run that we were watching, I sat right over there for all 87 hours of practice.
Is that where you were?
We're just on the far end. Yeah, in the corner there. And we've all at the end of every session, like T-Bell and I would look at each other and be like, the two looks pretty strong in traffic. Is that true? Do you feel as strong in traffic as you looked from the outside?
The car's been pretty good, pretty solid. I'll say this, it's been a really fun timeline the last 2.5, 3 years, call it. I've only had a better car each year. I went into the April test in 2023 saying, don't touch this thing. This is the car. This is what we're going to run. Obviously, it changes a little bit with temperature and all that stuff, but I was like, this is the base car. And we took that and we basically ran it in 23. We didn't do anything to it. And we came back, we tweaked on it a little bit, almost essentially ran the same car in 24. And it was just that touch better. We found a little ingredient here or there, but it was the same car. And then we showed up this year, the weight's different, hybrid. And we just did a couple tweaks here and there, and it's the best car I've ever had around here.
Really?
In all 3 years.
Yeah.
So it just keeps getting better. That does not mean you will win the race.
Right.
You can have the best car in the field, doesn't mean that. But I think we have that ingredient for this year. I do. I think we've got the team. The stars have to align. You have to have the pit stops. You got to mold to the strategy as it changes throughout the race, and you have to have the car. You can win this race without the car, but it is so much more difficult to do it without the car exactly where you need it.
Right.
And I have that. So, yeah, that gives me a lot of high hopes going into the race.
And you'd rather have a car dialed in like that in race trim than if you had to pick one or the other. Obviously you want that. You came from mid-pack when you won your first one. Are you kind of almost looking forward to the challenge? You could be starting on the front row, and that's great, and that's cool, and you're up there, and the race evolves a certain way, and hopefully everything plays its part and plays out that you're in it at the end. But the thought of coming from the back and working your way through traffic? Because again, you've been so strong in that in practice. Is that like kind of a little bit enticing? And then also, wait, answer that first.
I'm excited about the idea of it. Definitely. I mean, I'm just ready to. I have to keep reminding myself that I come here for race day. We all do, right? We're all sitting here working year round, and then you get here for the month of May, and it's all the practice, the build up. But you're here for race day. This is where you feel the magic of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the last couple of years, I've just tried to not look at the result and say, let me just enjoy the process of racing this thing and like getting it right.
Right.
And here's another thing. I just started saying this today. I told people, because I love hearing where people sit and their story, how long you had your tickets, who got them originally. Like, this is what makes Indy so cool. And I say there's no bad seat at the Indianapolis 500 because everyone loves where they sit. Everybody's got a good seat. And I now also believe there's no bad starting spot at the Indy 500. I think you can start from anywhere. Yeah. You just have to have the car, you have to have the team, and you can win this race from anywhere. So, maybe there's some more exposure. How could there not be?
For sure.
If we had a preference, I would start up front.
Yeah, of course.
You're going to limit it, but we just have to be smart about the beginning of the race. And once we get into the flow of things, I absolutely believe we can fight our way to the front.
Do you have to tell yourself now that the kind of biggest strength that you need to have for the first half of this race is patience? Are you sitting here being like, oh, we need to be in X position by X lap? Or are you just like, hang on, let's let it play out. We'll work our way up as we can. Or are you kind of looking at this race as like you've got goals of progress by certain stages of the race?
No goals. Definitely not. Not doing that. It's a good question. I think it's a little, there's such a balance in this. This racing, James. As soon as you take it easy, as soon as you're like, hey, I'm going to take a different approach, or I'm going to let off, that's when something bad happens. So I don't want, you can't go so far one end of the spectrum where you say, hey, look, we got to have some patience. But I do think it is relevant to say that. I think I've never started, essentially last here. I might just hang back at the start. I might be, a quarter of the way down the straightaway.
I mean, look at Ericsson last year, right?
You just never know. I mean, this is a very mixed up grid. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the more mixed up front rows we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I do think you need patience, but when it comes to the race itself, you just cannot change your natural approach. I think I've got to drive the car the way I naturally do, the way I've been driving it all month, the way, what feels right to me. I'm not going to second guess it, and that doesn't guarantee anything. You can always get caught up in something, but I think you put yourself more at risk when you overthink it and you try and pull yourself back.
Is that where you're going if you get a third?
I don't know.
Same spot?
It's a good question. I only knew on the first one that I was absolutely doing that.
Right.
The second one, I didn't necessarily have a plan for it. I didn't expect to win it a second time. I didn't expect to win it the first time. I'd given up on it. I was like, whatever. I'm never going to win this race. And so then the second time through, people, are you going to do it again? I had no idea. Did not expect to win it again. And I don't want to say I panicked. That's not what it was. I did my best to find a different option. Mm-hmm. Very hard. Very
limited
hard.
options.
There are such limited options here at the Speedway, which is unfortunate. This is the one place that I can find and that I knew of that you could access the crowd.
I would recommend trying the snake pit in 3. Just see.
Well, we know where Connor's going. Okay?
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Well, hey, man, you're doing it from the other end of the field, but going after history on Sunday. Best of luck in the 500, pal.
Thanks, James.